we were talking about the aspect of how arranged marriages used to work. And you look at it to some extent. There was some precautionary measure that was taken around it. Because your family and the family of that other individual wanajuana. The first 2 years of marriage, it's kind of like you're in a rosy phase and your subconscious kind of like blocks you from every other thing.
Really?
Yes. There's some extremes, some guys who don't even flush the toilets.
We want your partner to be fully equipped to deal with it when you get into marriage.
Tembea kwa kinao msichana mara mingi ukiona mtoto anafanana na yeye, buliza maswali.
Like I see you in the kitchen, like, you know, the way you're cutting the chicken. I feel like this is passion, you know.
Yes. The opposite of it. I'm one person who wants to know, where are we going? What route are we using? Who are we going with? How are we getting there? I want all that information.
Welcome to Manspeqtive Africa. I'm your host, Mr. Danny Shadongo, aka the son of Kano, and today it is my absolute pleasure to host a gentleman I've known for a while. His name is Otieno Okwenda.
Thank you, Danish.
You were talking about lifting weights just a while before we went on camera. You're telling me that short people like me need to lift heavier weights for us to gain a bit of muscle.
You want me to be slayed on by the people on the social media?
No.
I think all our bodies are different. And weightlifting is a journey. It's not a day's project or a one-time thing.
Don't be politically correct.
No, I'm going to. Let me be careful with my words. On one end, I have been in this thing for years. So I tell people, have been away. Like right now, I've just gone to work. I've gone for workouts, I think, maybe 3 times. And my body responds very fast. I've been doing this thing for close to more than 15 years, all the way from high school. And somebody thinks that you can just wake up and become muscular unless you decide to go. There's a professional guy who's talking about PEDs.
I think that's quite misleading because PEDs have massive side effects.
Yes.
And I think part of what social media does and digital media does that it gives everybody a chance to be heard.
Yes.
Even if those ideas are not very well informed, you can just take up and say, oh, by the way, you need a testosterone therapy, TRT, which is a huge thing. Before doctors put you on that thing, rarely do. I mean, we're talking about people who have, issues to do with, erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time, but somebody just who's never gone to med school, has never done this thing, tells you, by the way, be on TRT and you think it's okay and it's normal.
There are dangers with anytime you want to have shortcuts. You will have to suffer some consequences. The hard road with following the right path has its own results, but you need to also understand what you're getting yourself into. The thing about people who work out is that we have a lot more information about the wrong things and the right things. So you walk into a gym and somebody does not know how to bench press properly. You don't know what it means to do like a full range of motion of while you're lifting weights. But they will tell you so much about PEDs and what you can do about this. But I'm not saying that to criticize anyone. I think everybody has their own opinion on what they want to do with their lives and how you want to get somewhere. At the end of the day, you will bear the consequences.
We're not criticizing. What we're doing is that because you've posted this thing on public platforms, you give us a right of reply. So we're also replying, telling you that, by the way, what you're saying might not be scientifically proven. I think the best way to build abs or the best way to work on your body is in the kitchen.
Yes.
And then in the gym. It's not through shortcuts of injection, stuff like that. Well, that might sound sexy and somebody might make
it fast. Yes.
But we know exactly what has happened, especially in the fitness community where people have used PEDs. And it's completely ruined them. You remember the German guy who died of a heart attack? He was such a buffed guy, really ripped. But within a very short period of time, because of the impact of these PEDs, that's one of the allegations that was out there, is that, it had a toll on his heart.
I believe right now it's good that the information is coming out. So you're making an informed decision. When you take a certain route, know that there are consequences with it. But at the same time, a number of group, or let me say young people want to get into something very fast. And they want quick results. We are in a microwave generation. I want to get in tomorrow, I want to be buff. It's in every other aspect of life where we are chasing the quickest, we want the quickest way to get to something.
Exactly.
And the danger in that is that we forget that what puts people there, longevity, is not as a result of quick or fast. Maybe I could be looking at it from a different place, but I've seen a number of people who have passed away. Because I'm a gym enthusiast, so I watch a lot of that content.
Me too, yeah.
So we've seen a number of people who have lost their lives as a result of some of these things. Your heart is expanding. When you're taking PEDs, your body is a composition of muscles.
PD are performance enhancing drugs. For those who don't know the language, the gym, I mean the fitness language, Yes.
Or we call it juice. Our slang is juice. And the danger, the thing is that we've seen quite a number of people who have lost their lives as a result of this. Young men, young people under 40s having heart conditions, skin conditions. And it's just do what you want to do with a lot of information.
In fact, I have a theory that there was a presidential candidate in 2022 who really worked hard. You know, it was very interesting to imagine how he sustained that campaign. I have a theory, and I will not share it, but I have a theory around that, how he managed to sustain that campaign. It's not normal. There's certain things that our bodies in their natural state cannot do. Unless you have, you have enhancements that can be done to you. Of course, they all come at a price, And like this conversation we're having about process, and about, just ensuring that the whole thing follows due process, So how long have you been gymming now? You said 15 years?
I think it's all the way from 2005.
2005?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the first time I ever lifted a weight, and that was back in high school. I'm just telling you my age right now. Okay. So it's been a thing that I've been doing throughout my life. I think initially when I got into it was a result of self-esteem issues, wanting to be known, wanting to be recognized. And as I progressed in it and I grew in my life, I realized, this is me. Doesn't matter what you do with your life, you will get the accolades, but that doesn't give you satisfaction. So my mind shifted. So it became a lifestyle. So now when I'm working out, I'm more concerned about my health, how I'm feeling, my mental position, clarity. And then it's something that takes me away from my daily mundane work. So I might be here, projects here, editing, producing, directing. But then again, when I get back to working out, it takes my mind away from that. It's just something to, first of all, it's a health benefit, and then the aspect of just decompressing from what I've been the days that I've been having.
I like that. Even for me, when I started working out when I was in high school, and the working out I was doing was karate, but it was so that I could, beat village people who were coming at me when I maybe got a girl or whatever, And so it was mostly from a place of self-defense. Because then I was always the tiniest in our crew. I was always very, very small and very tiny. And so I said, if I can be like Jackie Chan,
Some of the movies we watched. But I think for me, one of the things that when I look back, a number of the things we get into are as a result of the experiences that we had. And we get into some of these things as a result of pain. Sometimes we were never accepted. Or rather, for us, some of us were bullied. Bullying nowadays is not something really much spoken about much. But during our times, when you're coming up, you had very big people intimidating people in school. So a big chunk of me getting into that was to get back to those guys. But now when you're growing up, one time when I was walking in town and my body had seriously responded to working out, I remember I met one of those guys that we were with in high school, and he looked so tiny and he looked so intimidating. And I looked at him, and then I asked myself, that's when I started having reflections that my whole motivation towards this was so wrong. Because now you've grown, you now have a lot of understanding based on what was happening back then, and now you have a different perspective. So
but it's actually interesting, Okwenda, because sometimes even the things that we start especially from a place of fear or anxiety or worry, can actually be beneficial. Because for me, I remember I started my karate when I was in high school, and then I started running soon after high school. So just really to clear my mind. And then I think later on in my life, when I turned 30, that's when I decided to go to the gym. And when I went to the gym, I was in a really, really dark place. It was just, everything was spiraling out of control, and my life was really, going out of control. And then I touched the barbell, and and I started to really work out. And that's when I realized that, wow, this thing really is not even about the now. I'm fixing my body for the future, because they say that the older you grow, you lose 1% of your body muscle every year. When you start to hit 40 or 30, then you begin to lose your muscle mass at least 1% over a period of time. But when you work out, when you're 40, 50, 60, and you want to lift something from the ground, you're able to lift it. When you work out, then you can sleep better. When you work out, something happens to you. So I think we need to sell fitness for the benefits it gives us today and in future. It shouldn't be about, if you want to get the muscles that I have, if you want to do this because I look like this, then I think then we are really shortchanging a beautiful thing by selling it as a short-term gains type of thing. But I think fitness has massive benefits.
I think for me, I would look at it also from the perspective of, if you sow right now, you will reap later. You have to put in the work right now. And you see, sometimes I look at videos online and you see a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old who's able to do pull-ups. And then you see another 80-year-old who's completely, and I know health and old age and conditions in life really play a part in this. But again, I feel like if we take part in this and begin to build, the benefits are ahead of us. So we need to look at this thing from a long-term perspective. It's not a short-term thing that I want to go to the gym today, I want to go work out today, I want to be buff today, and I want to be acknowledged that I'm big, I look good. So yes, it gives you a boost of confidence. I think when you walk into a room and you're acknowledged, you noticed when the guy just, as you walked in, he was like, can I get a portion of this? So to a certain extent, it kind of puts you in a place of, it can get into your head very quickly. And then you become obsessed with it. And those are the things that you kind of have to watch for. There's a time I almost got obsessed with it, because I realized I couldn't work or function without going to the gym. And then it became like a drug. So I have to step away from that to kind of like now reevaluate myself and look at it from a perspective of, where this is not, your life does not revolve around this. I look at it from now as a place for, it's just something to help me decompress from every other thing.
Which I think is not bad. I think there's certain addictions that are not bad. Like if you're addicted to gym, okay, I'm not, this is not a professional comment I'm making. It's just a comment. It's not a professional statement. But I think, you can be addicted to reading. Like you love reading. I think that for me is not a bad thing, because it's a beautiful thing. Can be addicted to, to sort of like walking or running or fitness. I think those are good addictions, because we often talk about addiction, which is, compulsive behavior, which is usually negative, alcohol and drugs and sex and stuff like that. But I think also it's possible for us to begin to look at this thing in a positive way, that, oh, by the way, I can't stop going to the gym. And of course, not in a way that then destroys the things about you, because it can be so compulsive and so impulsive that it destroys things around you. We're talking about a healthy dose of this thing. But Okwenda, there's a day you and I were walking from your office. First of all, you've not told people what you do. What do you do, Okwenda?
So I work with a company called Kubamba. And we primarily do ministry. We minister in schools. We also have a production side of it where I head, and we build our productions around ministering to young people. I think for us, it's using the tools that we have to minister to the young people, giving them positive messages and spreading the word of God. Let me just put it plain and simple. Our business is the young people, and it's making Jesus known to them.
Okay.
Yes.
And so what do you do at Kubamba?
So I head production.
Okay.
I'm the head of every other form of production that comes out of Kubamba. I have a team that I work with.
Okay.
And we have shows and we work with corporates. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. So you're a videographer, you're a photographer.
Yeah.
But
I started off as a photographer, and as I have progressively gone up, I've become a videographer. I've learned, built my muscle around audio.
Okay.
So that whole production system, like somebody who described me, I'm a walking production house. Because there's
not just somebody, it was a popular podcaster. Called Richard Njau.
Yeah, so in that whole shebang on production, I can be in photography, I can be in audio, I can be in video, I can be in editing. I know how to work with practically every other software that you know of in production.
Yeah.
So it's been a process of building and adding and just consistently learning. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. All right. So there was a day we were working with you from the office. And we had a very interesting discussion while walking from, I think, Lavington on our way to Kilimani.
Yes.
And we talked about how sometimes people who are in the church are not prepared well to succeed in marriage. I don't know whether you remember that conversation.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. What do you know about that conversation?
I think there are a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
And to one end, we make everything flowery.
Okay.
We presume everything will be good.
Yeah.
You presume that once you're in it, everything will be okay. But when you step into that space is when the floodgates are open.
Okay.
And the world has a different way of approaching some of these things. And for us, we are kind of like given a roadmap, I would say. You're given a roadmap, and that roadmap is supposed to allow everything to work in a certain way.
Yeah. We're talking about in the context of marriage.
In the context of marriage.
Okay.
But you step outside the world here and guys are told completely different things.
So tell me like some of the things you're told when you are in the church.
So there is, I wouldn't say that we are told, or rather we go through classes.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your courtship. There's a class you go through.
Yeah.
And a big chunk of it is beneficial.
Okay.
The other side of it is that the certain practical things that you experience out in marriage itself that you don't even know how to go back to what you're taught. Because you feel like some things have been left out.
Like, for example?
How do you handle you are told, yes, there will be conflict and you can resolve it in this way. But what happens when somebody is not responding to you? What happens when you've tried every other method of quote unquote the roadmap that you're given and it's not working?
Yeah.
That is when people crash.
Escalate, de-escalate, those type of things you're told.
So you're here, you're trying to sort out a matter. You've reached out to everyone and you're now in a place where frustration is creeping in. How do you handle that? Or this whole thing of, please forgive me. This whole thing of, I understand forgiveness, but there's also repeated patterns of bad behavior.
Yeah.
How do you
deal with that?
Some of these things? Because you were there, you were told to love and care for, but now there's this aspect of things are happening and you don't know even sometimes how to address them. You're trying to look at every other way. And then you see the thing is, to be honest with you, there are a number of marriages that guys have put out there, or rather we share around. We don't really talk about the issues and the challenges we go through. Or if you're talking about them, you're just talking about the top level,
the surface level
but
conversation.
The ones that are really messy, some of them are kept under the rug, and I feel that those issues are the ones that need to be brought up to kind of like enlighten people. Let's not make people believe that everything is okay. There are times when it stinks and you feel like you don't want to be there.
So I think what you're basically saying, because both of us have gone through church-based premarital counseling, and it's beneficial, honestly, quite beneficial. But I think this conversation is not to bash it. This conversation is to improve it.
Yes.
Because there must be consistent ways of us looking at systems that are not serving us and to imagine, because even the Bible talks about the old wineskins and new wine.
Yeah.
The idea around renewing our mind. If you're called to renew our mind, and if you're called to constantly push and become better, I think even in the areas of how we do premarital counseling needs to be questioned. For me, the fundamental problem I have with how church does premarital counseling, is that it's not scientific. I'll give a very basic example.
Yeah.
You are getting married, and Okwenda, you live with a bipolar mood disorder, which is a severe form of mental illness, which is characterized with sort of, up and down of emotions. And they're extreme, not just up and down, but they're really, really extreme. There might be suicidal behavior, And then your partner, maybe you don't even know that you have a bipolar mood disorder. Maybe they just say, wanakwaga hivyo tu. Yo ana behave tu hivyo tu. But then the partner doesn't also understand what bipolar mood disorder is. And the pastor who's taking you through this thing also doesn't understand.
Yes.
And so what happens is that then you're taken through these 12 classes. But these 12 classes, there's nobody who has done a scientific test to look at what is your attachment style. Do you have any underlying mental illness?
Yes.
Is there any major trauma that you went through that can influence, how you relate in your marriage? And so we then, allow people to get married, and then we say it's happily ever after. I think for me, that is the first place that we need to change. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think just to slide away from that kidogo, I was talking to somebody today, and we were talking about the aspect of how arranged marriages used to work. And you look at it to some extent.
Yeah.
There was some precautionary measure that was taken around it.
Yeah.
Because your family and the family of that other individual
wanajuana. And there's some research being done. Yeah.
There was some research being done about that family. Or if somebody came and proposed to you and you knew something was wrong, you had to be frank with the way things, okay, this is the situation. So going back and touching on to what you're saying, there are certain things like that. I feel like we must accept that we have conditions.
Yeah.
We have our own psychological compositions.
Yeah.
We have hearts that we carry.
Yeah.
And these things show up.
In marriage mostly.
And
they're magnified
because
actually.
you're with this person in a closed space.
Yeah.
You are living with this person every other day. And the thing that I realized is that the first 2 years of marriage, it's kind of like you're in a rosy phase and your subconscious kind of like blocks you from every other thing.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I look back at myself and I kind of like the first 2 years or maybe the 3 years, you are in that infatuation, quote unquote stage. Everything is okay. You accept, socks iliachwa pale, huyu anaacha vyombo kwa jikoni, iko tu sawa. Hey, there's some extremes, some guys who don't even flush the toilets. As in, you hear these things and I'll do them. Danish, when it hits the third year, that very thing that you are saying is okay becomes a thorn in the flesh in your life.
Yeah.
And it becomes a source of conflict.
Okay.
Because now your guards are down. You are now together. You're no longer just wanting to entertain and make everything work right. Your mind is now, you're now releasing yourself to now becoming you with this person.
Yeah.
And that is where the conflict now erupts.
Yeah.
And you're not prepared to deal with that. You
Yeah.
see the scientific side of it.
Yeah.
As in, there are things such as that need to be talked about. You're talking about the aspect of somebody being bipolar or having a certain condition, a mental health condition.
Exactly.
You have no idea. You've maybe probably seen a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
But you've never been taught in church that we also need to evaluate ourselves from afar.
Yeah.
I remember there's a guy who said, but this was in reference to finding out whether people have kids. Ati tembea kwa kinao msichana mara mingi ukiona mtoto anafanana na yeye buliza maswali. But I also feel like let's also find more information and details about people. It's just that sometimes we always want to put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
So if something is wrong, we hide it. It's not, we don't bring it forward.
Yeah.
But you know very well this is going to show up. If you have somebody or if you have a condition and as you're saying, some of these things have not even been discovered yet.
Exactly.
Somebody's been living with a certain condition and you don't know.
And you don't know. And maybe, and it's not to say that the church is not scientific. It's to say that in addition to the premarital counseling, I think there's need for certain conditions. Like, for example, I would personally, if I'm a pastor and I'm taking couples through premarital counseling, I would require them to do at least 5 therapy sessions.
Yes.
And with a licensed therapist, licensed counseling psychologist. Because what will happen is that these psychologists will do is they'll do an intake. An intake is where they will basically let them talk about their childhood, where they grew up and all these things. And because they are trained to understand how this might have an impact on their marriage, then they can pick those things.
Yes.
And it's not to disqualify for that. Now, if you have a bipolar mood disorder, you don't deserve to be married. No. It is to say that now we know that you have this condition. We know you have ADHD. We know you have schizophrenia. We know you have HIV.
Yeah.
We know you have leukemia. We know you have a condition which might not be treated. However, we want your partner to be fully equipped to deal with it when you get into marriage.
Yes.
Because this idea that these things will resolve themselves in marriage is a lie. Because these things will be magnified in marriage. When you come together and now you find that, oh, by the way, I wasn't equipped to deal with these extreme emotions. Maybe this person grew up abandoned in their childhood, and now they're very clingy and they attached themselves to you, and they have absolutely no idea on how to live without you. And it might look cute, like, oh, by the way, I'm so addicted to you. Until you realize, by the way, this is a bit unhealthy. But now you don't know how to deal with it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think science and religion need to go together.
Yeah.
We need to have a way that we balance these two things together. Science only comes to add up. It either allows us to understand the Bible even further.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy who was talking about the way our temple, I think guys need to go and find out. There's a guy on TikTok who's talking about how the reference of how our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And how God prepared it, kabisa. The blood, actually he went even to the extent of the cell and how the cell is structured. It's a clear representation of the temple of God. It's a clear representation because there's an inner court and the way things happen inside the cell. Now, that is to say that science has to add on or science has to support.
Yeah.
If there is something that is scientific that needs to be dealt with or needs to be brought into light, then we need to have that.
Yeah.
We don't need to kind of like put this, be in a space where we allow ignorance to lead us.
It's either or. It's either we are scientific or we are religious. We can be religious and scientific at the same time. Yeah.
So we can't, you can't, somebody has malaria, you can't just tell them that, oh, go to church and you'll be prayed for. There's a provision that God has made sure that somebody there discovered a drug that can deal with that.
Exactly.
So why are we not allowing these other things to be brought up?
Exactly.
And we allow them, and then informing somebody, as you're saying, allows them to have the power to now know how I will manage this issue, how I am willing to work with you in this issue. So in case anything erupts, I am prepared, as you're saying, I am prepared to deal with this. She has an issue with bipolar, then I need to know. I'm well aware of her moods.
Of the symptoms, the signs when it happened, understand.
Yes.
Let's get even so that people who live with bipolar would not say that this show really focuses on. Let's talk about ADHD.
Yes.
Somebody has ADHD, attention deficiency hyperactivity disorder, which comes with impulsivity and time break. And internal clock which is broken, and executive functions are not working. So how it will show up in marriage is that your partner is always late.
Yes.
Or they underestimate and they say, oh, it will take us an hour to finish this thing. Then it takes them 3 hours. Then you say, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you lying?
Yeah.
But if you don't understand this person has a broken internal clock, you might not support them fully. Or maybe they're planning, their executive functions are not fully planned. So how do they do the planning?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a control of their money. Maybe they're impulsive in their expenditure. These things can have a bearing on marriage.
Yes.
Because sometimes some of these things that we live with can then become character, or they can be seen as personalities.
Yes.
But really, if we know what they are, they can actually be fixed. I'm passionate about mental health because I think that if we are able to really address mental health in the church, we can help so many people. Because the first problem we see is that we often see it as a demonic thing.
Demonic.
So, because apparently it's only in scripture, there's this man who had a legion and Jesus went and delivered him. And of course the pigs went and, went into the... So that's the point, that we see somebody who has lost his senses, and we see that there was a direct relation between insanity and demon possession.
Yeah.
So because of that, we often think that, okay, that's how it is. But I think we need to understand that that is an extreme bit of it. But day to day, there are certain things that, have a bearing on how you relate, on how you do all these things, which if we don't address now, it will land in divorce.
Yeah. Even I think some of the visual representations, or rather what the Bible really brought to us, some of them were very extreme. And we don't see them nowadays. You only see, if you start talking about somebody having mental health, we think about the guys in Madare, the people carrying 30 bags all over. That's what we see. Yeah. But when you fully experience the challenges that people have, then you now begin to appreciate it in a whole different perspective. And it's just to say that the church needs to take this in.
Yeah.
It's
the
not
new evidence. And the churches that are doing that, like for example, the Catholic Church is very big on counselling. We also know that CITAM does this. Very and many other churches, even the Assemblies of God where I grew up in, they're incorporating all these things. All we are saying is that it needs to be put into the premarital counseling curriculum.
Yes.
So that in addition to the equipping you around sex and money and conflict and in-laws and all these things, they also talk about now childhood trauma, personality types, bonding, love languages, all these things in a way that is deeper. And how else do you think we can enrich the premarital counseling process?
When you've touched on counseling, and I have been going through counseling. I think now it's about 2 months, and it's allowed me to deal with a difficult situation in my life. And the benefits of that is now stop looking at yourself as a victim. That's the first thing. It allows you to be in a place where you are now more objective. You don't look at the situation and you put yourself in that situation. You are a person before you ever got in that situation. And in as much as you're in it, it's now to look at yourself from the place of, you know what, guys, you're going through this. It's going to be a long road. Nobody tells you that. Probably the person that you're dealing with is also going to be problematic for some time. And you're not prepared for that. So you get frustrated. But when you have somebody who's telling you that and is helping you navigate that, then you're prepared. So when anything erupts, you are always aware of, so this was going to show up. So you don't fall into that hole, you don't fall into the hole with them. And you now begin to become the one who's more objective and look at this thing from, okay, now I need to take the higher place. So this is one of the things that we are really, really pushing, and anyone and everyone should go for counseling. If you notice that there are things that are in your life that you feel are not aligned, and even to guys who really want to, you found that person, you love one another, it's only good that you begin from that place of knowing where each of you are
coming from.
Yes, because we are a composition of our environments, parenting, the things that we've gone through, and they can only show up when you're in a space with somebody. We only discover people's bad behavior when we are with them, or challenges in life when we are with them. You go to any working environment that we are in, we have dynamic brains and different people from different things, different places. And that's when things begin to get exposed. So as a way of advising my brethren or even just unctioning them is there's nothing wrong with going for counseling. There's nothing wrong.
Especially for men.
Yes, men.
From Christian men, gym going people. You know that.
Please, by all means, go for it. It can only benefit you, allowing you to see yourself in a different place.
How has it benefited you yourself?
I think for the first time in my life, I looked at myself and I stopped blaming myself.
How do you mean blaming yourself?
There's a statement that my bro told me when I was young, and it has lived with me. And there's something that happened when we were young. And he told me, kubali tu iishe. And you know very well that wasn't you. But later on, you look back into life, you have accepted so many things. And when you look at it, you see how I've really clocked it to that. That was one of the things that I discovered. So you tend to allow somebody's bad behavior or unacceptable behavior because now you're blaming yourself. You look at yourself as the cause of them doing that. You're not looking at this thing from an objective place. You also have contributed to this situation. And if you look at the situation itself or what is leading to this whole thing here, it's you have played a big part of it. But when you start saying that, it's because you didn't do this, it's because you didn't do it, and then you listen to that, then that is what you're reflecting upon. So you now want to overcompensate. You're not calling out somebody else's bad behavior or actions, but now you are blaming yourself. You're even taking the weight of their actions on you. So I think for me, that was one of the things that I was doing. So now I'm in a place where I'm like, hey, you also have contributed to this. Yes, I know I have contributed one way or another into where we are, but you bear also a certain element of responsibility. And there's no way you can justify your actions. There is no way. And that has given me a very powerful, put me in a very, not powerful, but it has put me in a headspace of knowing that I can say no.
Okay. You struggled with saying no before.
I've struggled, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one person who would easily accept. You call me here and you tell me to do this. I even work at my inconvenience. But then I realized that this has spiraled into something completely different. And it is now working to
against you now.
Against me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. I'm constantly just taking in things and saying yes. But you don't look at yourself and stand and say, this is not healthy.
Okay. So it's in therapy that you begin to see that this is not healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not healthy. You think that you are the best guy, you're ready to help everyone, and you're ever available. You call, hey, niaje, uko hapa, come, nisaidie hapa. Oh, and you know that things, it's that form of, you're saying ADHD, where you think you can do it, the timing and every other thing. So you think you can juggle so many things. You're taking so many things at the same time, and you're trying to pile them up to try and satisfy other people and make things work for them. But at the end of the day, you're the one who's losing.
Why do you think it is important for men to take responsibility for their actions and to let other people take responsibility for their actions, so that we don't take as a way to look like we are sacrificial or we are all these things, so we take other people's responsibility?
I think men are generally told to be sacrificial.
Sacrificial, yeah.
And that becomes a weight on us. We are always told that, you know what, mwanaume ni kutafuta. A man is, and it's the conversation that is out here, that a man is only only recognized by how much he can provide.
His ability to provide.
That is the benchmark for whether you are a man or not.
Yeah.
But then again,
and you think that's problematic?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it is.
Okay, tell me more.
I feel that we cannot be defined by what we bring to the table. I am a composition of so many things.
Yeah.
There's so many other things that are beautiful
about
and
you.
Love me, about me, and lovely about me, that you don't need just to box me into provision. That's all I can do. And the other things that you are doing. There are some men who are very in tune with taking care of their kids. There are men who are like for me, I'm one of those men who would probably tell my wife, and I'm okay. I will clean them, I will wash them, and I enjoy it. But there are people who are not built like that.
Yeah.
But then we now box that if you you become a stay-at-home dad. Yeah. You are not a voice in the society.
Yeah.
You're not seen as a man because your wife is working and you have decided to take care of kids. Now everybody sees you differently. Yeah. I think that conversation or that narrative needs to change because we need to appreciate people
in their diversities.
Yeah. So if you find a man who's okay like this and is doing this and he's flourishing, I think the thing there, he's flourishing.
Yeah.
And then you want to put him in a different space.
Yeah.
No, man.
I like that, Okwenda, because even the many times that I've invited you to my place to come and, some of the best meals I've eaten have been cooked by you,
Yeah.
And you really enjoy. Like I see you in the kitchen, like, the way you're cutting the chicken. I feel like this is passion,
Yes.
And the way you clean. I think you're the only person who, when you cook, and when you're done cooking, the whole kitchen is clean.
I have to. That is a lesson from the late Lucy Okwenda, my mom.
So it will be difficult when somebody sees that and saying that is not, because I think sometimes the people of the opposite gender would choose this side of you of cooking. But if you decide that, I want to be a stay-at-home dad, they would say, now this is bad, this is good. This is good, but this is bad.
Yes.
It's like we don't often want men to be seen in their own diversities.
Yes.
Like somebody like me, I really don't think I enjoy cleaning the house. I don't enjoy cooking. Those are things I don't enjoy doing. However, I'm the sort of person who will bring adventure to the family.
Yes.
And then we'll find just a bad road. Let's say, let's follow it and let's go. We'll discover a dope place. Like yesterday, we're not traveling with my wife from the village where we are coming. Instead of coming through my Mahiu, I told her, let's just look for this Ngong Suswa road. And we got a picky guy from Suswa, because that junction has not been properly made, who took us to a certain ranch with heavy,
rocks.
like not heavy rock. It was dust.
Yes.
And my wife was like, wow, what if we get stuck? I tell her, okay, I'm the king of, adventure.
Yes.
When we got onto that road, we were driving. We found a beautiful gem. I think about 10 or so kilometers before you reach Ngong.
Yeah.
A place where we ate such a nice meat. We sat on the ground. We played with dogs. There's this dog that had given birth to multiple kids. We fed the dog.
Yeah.
And went and checked their cabins. And my wife is just saying like, wow, I trust you to come up with such plan. Yes. That's what I do and that's what I enjoy and that's okay. And I'm glad that I've been allowed to do that. But when you go to the house, I'm not the sort of person who enjoys cleaning.
I'm the opposite of you.
Exactly.
I'm the opposite of you. Yeah. I'm one person who wants to know, where are we going? What route are we using?
Yeah.
Who are we going with?
Yeah.
How are we getting there? I want all that information.
Yeah.
My mind has to be fully satisfied that this is the direction you're going and that's the exact way I want to move.
Yeah.
And I find that to some extent that might be curtailing somebody else from expressing themselves.
Yeah.
So you for me, that's the way I operate. That's why you see when I get into the kitchen, I will prepare my vegetables, I prepare the chicken differently and separate stuff. So my mind is organized. I'm kind of like adding on to as I move forward.
Yeah.
But you take me on a diversion like this, oh man, you've messed me up one way or another. So, and I think we need to appreciate one another from that perspective.
Exactly.
So if there's a man who likes cooking, please, by all means, celebrate him. If there's a man who likes taking care of his kids and wants to be a stay-at-home dad.
You are a father to daughters.
Yes.
So when you talk about cleaning, you're cleaning gas. It's not, which is something you enjoy and you do and you know,
taking care of them. I go with them to the saloon. The other day we were in the saloon for, I think, almost 4 hours. I was just sitting there and I'm watching them as their hair is being braided and I'm okay. I don't mind even when the mamas in the saloon, like, ina huyu mzee. Amekosa kitu ya kufanya. Because unfortunately, that's how some of these conversations begin.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. Yeah. I want to be part of that process of their lives.
Yeah.
And for me, I find fulfillment in that. I am in the office. I will do what is required of me. But at the same time,
you want to go home and
I want to go home and have time with my kids.
Yeah.
And we've built a relationship with them that when I'm late, they will call and we will read the Bible together and we will pray. Actually, my eldest daughter is the one who nowadays gives me verses. So the other day I was telling guys in my office today, we had a meeting.
Yeah.
And I was telling them this, I noticed something. So we have been reading the Word of God and I've been explaining what that verse talks about.
Yeah.
So I think last week, we read a verse and I was like, okay, let us pray. And she stopped me and she told me, Dad, you haven't explained. Can you talk about this verse?
Yeah.
And it really
How old is
shocked me. She's now almost turning 8 years in October.
Okay.
But you can see how their minds are growing. And I was like, wow, this is good. Because she caught me, I was tired and I was like, no, we have to. Please talk to us what this means. And that was so fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
And I shared a video on TikTok and Instagram on Sunday. We were in church and our pastor was speaking about reminding us about the coming back of Christ. And he made an altar call. And these two girls walked to the altar amongst the maybe 15 kids who were there. And for a moment I got shocked.
Yeah.
It hit me that they fully understand.
Yeah.
Or rather, they are connected to what I'm connected to.
Yeah.
My firstborn daughter walks away and she tells me, Dad, I'm going to the altar. I'm going to give my life to Christ. And I'm like, wow. And her younger sister is like, ameenda. Acha mimi naenda. So I am here confused because we are seated at the topmost place. And I'm following them as they are rushing, going to because Imani, that's my daughter, she ran to the altar very fast. So they run and they go and they go before the altar and they are prayed for. And I remember tears were coming down my eyes. I think for us who fully understood who Christ is and what being in salvation is and experiencing the joy in the midst of the pain and whatever we go through, but seeing your children stepping into that space.
Yeah.
That was like, man, that was something for me.
And I saw that video and I was quite moved. It was, I think, one of the most authentic videos you've done. I also know you as a guarded man. you're always very guarded, you know. But of course, when you know people, then you really open up. Or when you don't know people, you sort of guarded, you know. But Talk to me about parenting. What are you learning? What is God telling you? What are these things that you're seeing that you think of throughout your parenting journey?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've learned is that our parenting and the way our dads brought us up can't be the same.
Okay.
It cannot be the same.
Okay.
Old methods and the way things are right now, we can't apply the same what we went through on these kids. These kids are growing up fast. They are more informed. Their brains are growing up fast. And they are being informed so much information. So their brains are really, really maturing. And we can't go the older route. Hey man, some of us tulipigwa. Tulipigwa kama wanyama.
Wanasema kupigwa kama nguruwe msikitini.
Hey, my goodness. Tulichapwa. Yeah. And I think there was a reason for that.
You cannot justify abuse. Some of that was borderline abuse. And let's call it for what it is.
You call it borderline abuse, your dad will tell you a whole different thing.
And many of us say, but we turned out correct. We turned out correct and we are depressed. Many of us are drinking. We are second guessing ourselves. We're not assertive. We are yes men in the office, and you think you turned out okay because you're beaten. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
So now how I approach, the way I handle my kids, I don't beat my kids. We talk. We have an open door policy in our house. If you make a mistake, I need to know about it before I even ask you about it. So you will find in a situation where a cup was broken, when we are on a call, Dad, by the way, a cup broke. I walked into your room, I broke your mirror. And I'm like, I love that.
Okay.
It's now, that my things are private.
Okay.
You're not supposed to handle this.
Okay.
And that whole exchange allows them to be free with me. Free with me. So anything that happens in their lives, they are open to tell me. Anyone who hurts them, they will be quick to come and tell me, you know what, Dad? So we don't keep secrets around one another. And it's that aspect, that approach is what I've taken.
Okay.
That I want to talk to you. I want us to reason things together. I want, if there's something that has gone or something that is wrong, we deal with it. If there's a bad behavior, we call it out that this is wrong. I don't like sulking. Why are you sulking? If you ask me for something, we must be patient. Things don't just pop up.
Okay.
So whenever they ask me for something and I'm like, it'll take time, I tell them, I told you, what do we talk about? We must be patient. When you request for something, you wait for it.
Yeah. I like that, Okwenda. What else are you learning about parenting? Because this is very interesting.
The other thing is that this is now the other side of parenting is that you now realize how kids are parented very differently.
Okay.
And that's the thing that hits
so
you.
You can have the same children with both parents, but those children are parented differently.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have different approaches, but not within. I'm just talking from you parenting your kids and then going out and being exposed to how other kids are parented outside there. And you must be prepared because Danish, you will teach a child, you will train a child, you will allow them to flourish in your space with this way, but then they walk out and they pick something outside there. So you must also influence what is around you. I learned this from an elder in the church, and he was talking about, I don't know if it's an elder, and he was talking about the aspect of, they realized that they were building, but it was constantly being brought down because kids pick things from kids very fast.
Yeah.
So things like insults, things like how they handle one another, fighting, it's picked from other kids very fast. So if you are not quick enough, because whenever I'm at home and my kids are playing outside, anything happens, they will call me and I will react very fast. It's not being overly or compulsively obsessed with them or protecting them, but it's also just being coming from the place of, I know there are kids here who are not parented well. And we must accept that.
Yeah.
But you step in and you become an example. So what has happened is that anytime, like for a couple of times when things were happening outside and they would come for me, and the kids started noticing that this way, Baba Watoto is always ready. As in, you do something, they come in, I will go out and we will deal with it there. And it's the change has come in this way. Is that now whenever I walk into the Esther and the kids see me, they come and give me high five. So I am in as much as I am teaching my kids well, I must make sure that the environment also that they are being brought up in, the people that the kids that they are also, in as much as I don't want to say that some parents are not doing well. Everybody has a reason as to why things are the way they are. But for me, I have to ensure even the environment that is outside where my kids are, that is also, to a certain extent, I'm controlling it, but and in a positive way. So these kids know me. So when I come, oh, how are you, Baba Hava? And they'll come and high five me. And I like it because now that shows they don't fear you. You spoke to them about them behaving well and not fighting and not insulting and telling them that this is the way things are supposed to be. And it was not from a place of speaking down to them, but it was from a place of this is what is good. And you see how it is positively affecting them.
I like that, Okwenda. And my goodness, when I called you to come and do this show, you were very hesitant because I ambushed you. How are you feeling now?
It's a whole different feeling, right? I think I've loosened up. I was feeling a bit flustered, tired, because I've had a couple of long days. And there's so much on my table. I was just like, how do I get all these things? But I feel like right now, sitting here, there's a certain element of fulfillment because I know I'm passing information outside there that will benefit someone. We've not made it, but the little that we have, we can share it with you so that it can enable you to grow.
I like that. Tell me, what are your final comments and how can our guests meet with you? I mean, how do they interact with you?
Hey, mambo ya social media.
Okay.
So you can find me on IG. I represent under Olive_Mountain. On TikTok, I am Steve. I changed it. Otieno Okwenda, because I remember when I was talking to people, guys were like, hey, who are you? So it's Otieno Okwenda. But the one thing that I want to encourage guys is this. One, first of all, I will start from a point of faith. I am a born-again Christian. Gave my life to Christ back in 2005 and I've never regretted. Secondly, do not accept bad behavior.
Okay.
One thing that we have to, as men, is to know, take accountability for your actions, but also the other people that are in our lives need to know, so they need to take accountability of their actions. Thirdly, let us not shame one another. We are not defined by our mistakes. The moment we decide to rise up above the mistakes that we've made, then we need not to be defined by them. When a man decides to take a certain role and feels comfortable in it, it is only good for us to champion them in that direction. And finally, I will say that therapy is good. Every man needs to find a place where they can open up. Don't box yourself. Don't think that you have all the solutions to the problems that you have. You need to speak out. You need to find somebody to open your mind to and be vulnerable to. I think the thing that has always put men from being vulnerable is that we are judged. When we speak out, that thing is used as a weapon against you. When a man seems to be soft, cries, that is used to demean him. He feels emasculated. And we need to embrace one another. Men need to find places to speak and just that, as in, let's love one another. I know when you talk to men and tell them, well, love one another, it kind of like sounds it's a foreign word in the man's language.
I remember we even say we don't tell men good night. How do you tell me good night? You don't never good night, come on.
You've mentioned that, and I remember one time one of our friends, one of our colleagues was calling us and was saying, he was just calling us and saying good night, and you're like, where? What's wrong with you? And everybody was laughing that men do not really know how to accept that. But again, I will urge men to go for therapy, find safe spaces that you can speak, find people that you can share with, who will walk with you. There's a guy who was saying that if you find a man who can defend you, who can correct you, and who's ready to go when you're ready to go, you found a man who's going to be. That composition of a man is somebody that you never walk away from. So before we desire to be that, can we become that?
Okay, absolutely. But Okwenda, you also have services you offer. I mean, it's interesting for people to, what is it that you offer that way?
I work in the videography field.
So weddings,
photography, engagements,
podcast production.
Podcast production. I'm now big on podcast sound and just the whole production. As I was telling him that somebody called me the other day that I'm a walking production house. So anything from photography to sound, all that is under my forte.
Okay.
And I can offer you a service in any bit of that you may need.
Okay. That was Manspeqtive Africa, the show where we sit with men and women, and of course we have interesting conversation. I've known Okwenda for many, many years, and I'm grateful and I'm glad. By the way, if you don't know, Okwenda was a founding member of Manspeqtive Africa when we started in 2019. He was the one who used to edit, shoot, and he was also a co-host of the show. Eventually, things went the way they went, but of course we're still friends and we still maintain a contact. Of course, you can follow this conversation. The hashtag is Manspeqtive Africa, Manspeqtive as a Q. On YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and of course, the channel is Manspeqtive Africa. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we are on KTN every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the dot. And of course, KTN is celebrating. They rebranded and they're doing amazing content. Of course, you can tune in and get all the amazing content that you get from KTN. Until next time, adios, and may God bless you.